What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the numbers. These are my NFL DFS picks for Week 10. My best picks here, going over my favorite plays for the slate. Not going to go into every single play here because if we did, we'd be here forever. But just going to touch on like my 3-4 plays, favorite plays from each position here. And with that said, before we get started, if you guys can leave a like, subscribe if you have not yet, would really appreciate that a ton. But we're going to start up top with the quarterbacks here, and Kyler Murray at 8,000. And I just want to say, like, the slate, like, it is so easy to make pretty much any lineup you want. We're going to talk about some of the value. Mike Davis is one. A bunch of value at wide receivers as well. You can like make any lineup you want here. So I am probably going to go up and get Kyler Murray at 8,000 here versus Buffalo, and a 56.5 point game total, where the Cardinals are 2.5 point favorites here. He's averaging 31.4 DraftKings points per game. And I love the matchup here against Buffalo. That's given up the second most points to quarterbacks, right behind Seattle there. Tons of rushing yard upside, 100 yards rushing last week. And he definitely has that rushing yard upside, and that's something you definitely like in cash games for a nice floor there. 35 rushing attempts in the last 3 games. He's like what we expected Lamar Jackson to be this year. So high touchdown upside and what's projected to be a high-scoring game here on the slate. Potential shootout even. So, yeah. I'm probably going to go here in cash. I think that's where I'm going to go, up here at 8,000. I think in tournaments is fine as well. Great stacking options, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk. So, yeah, Kyler Murray is probably my favorite quarterback play on the slate for this week. And there's a lot of great guys up here. I mean, you really can't go wrong with playing Russell Wilson on any given week. I think Aaron Rodgers is a great play. I do want to touch on Josh Allen at 7,500. Same thing, 56.5 point game total here, where the Bills are going to be 2.5 point underdogs. He did have a rough stretch of games, but he did bounce back last week against Seattle. Had a fantastic game, scoring almost 40 DraftKings points there, 39, and it scored 4 touchdowns as well. Another great matchup here against Arizona. Arizona has given up the 5th most DraftKings points to QBs this year. He does have that rushing yard upside. Of course, not the rushing yard upside of Kyler Murray, but still some rushing yard upside nonetheless. He's ran the ball 28 times in the last 3 weeks and should have plenty of upside in this high-scoring projected game here against the Cardinals. So I don't think you can go wrong with Josh Allen. I think he's a very good tournament play, but I will more than likely go up there and get Kyler Murray in my cash lineup for Sunday. And then going down, Deshaun Watson is very interesting, just because based off the price. 6,900 going in against Cleveland here in a 51-point game total, where the Texans are going to be 3.5 point underdogs. Averaging 24.5 DraftKings points per week. He's been playing very well as of late after a slow start to the season. And I like the matchup here against this Cleveland secondary that's really not all that great. And I like the price here as well. 6,900, you're getting a nice discount off of Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, all those guys up top. And, I love the stacking options. Brandin Cook, someone we'll talk about. I think Will Fuller is another great stacking option. So Deshaun Watson is definitely somebody I'm looking at. Then the other guy I wanted to talk about a little bit, and that is Jared Goff. And I'm definitely going to be spending up a quarterback this week. I really don't see the point in punting out a quarterback, especially with all the value on the slate. So this is probably the lowest I'm going to go, and that's Jared Goff. 6,500 versus Seattle in a 54.5 point game total, which is the second highest on the slate. And the Rams are about 1.5 point favorite. And he is averaging 19.6 DraftKings points. You get a nice savings off the top guys as well. Should be a lot lower owned than the top guys as well there. So can't really ask for a better matchup against Seattle. Seattle has given up the most DraftKings points to opposing quarterbacks so far this year. Great stackable options, Woods, Kupp, Reynolds. I think Jared Goff's a very interesting tournament option. I think Seattle's defense is very, very bad. Quarterbacks tend to do really good against them, and I do think Jared Goff does have that upside. More of a tournament play for me. Like I said, for cash, I'm probably going up top and getting Murray, but I think Goff is fine in tournaments there. Okay, getting into the running backs. Kamara, you can play him on any given week. I like Aaron Jones a lot at 7,100, getting a nice discount off of Kamara there. Going against Jacksonville in a 51-point game total, the Packers are 13-point favorites. I really like that for Aaron Jones as well. I love the matchup here against an awful Jacksonville run defense. I don't get the price at 7,100. It feels way too cheap here for Jones. He has reception upside, caught 5 passes in his last game. He's good for 20 touches and has a lot of touchdown upside. He has 7 touchdowns on 6 games as well. And like I said, they should be ahead most of the game, so in theory, he should get more rushing attempts there. So, I like Jones a lot at 7,100. Potentially a cash play, but I really like him in tournaments as well. I think he has a decent amount of upside. Not going really back to Connor. Kind of screwed a lot of people over last week. Chubb's coming back this week. That's very interesting. I do like James Robinson, 6,600 going against Green Bay here. On the flip side of Jones here. So 51-point game total where the Jaguars are 13-point dogs. And Robinson's averaging 19.6 DraftKings points. Great matchup here against this Green Bay defense that is very, very poor, especially the run defense. 0 receptions last week, and this is what concerns me. This is why I'm probably not going to go here in cash with the new quarterback. The 0 receptions does concern me a little bit, especially, if they're going to be trailing, you'd think he'd get more receptions this game. But he had at least 4 receptions the 4 weeks prior to that, so maybe he'll get back into it, get more receptions. But I don't know if it's because of the quarterback, the new quarterback playing for them. So, I think he'll have some reception upside. I mean, they're going to be trailing a lot. Maybe I don't know. But hopefully he does get some receptions there because it'd be big if he did. But solid game last week, had 25 touches. And, Packers' run defense is pretty bad. So I like this play here. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. As long as he, gets some passes thrown to him, I think he'll score really well. I think there's touchdown upside as well. So Robinson's definitely somebody I'm looking at 6,600. Going down, I'm not going to touch on any single play, but I think there's like a ton of great plays. Miles Sanders is back. I like Miles Sanders. If Drake doesn't play, that's going to open up Edmonds. Bernard is a good play. Mixon's out. But, I'm going to go down to Duke Johnson here. 5,000 versus Cleveland. 51-point game total where the Texans are 3.5-point underdogs. So David Johnson is going to be out here, making Johnson the number 1 quarterback, or Duke Johnson the number 1 quarterback for Houston on Sunday. And he did have 20 touches last week after Johnson left with an injury. Reception upside for Johnson, caught 4 passes last week. Pretty solid matchup here against Cleveland, and I really love the price here since David Johnson is out. So 5,000, I'm locking him in cash. I think it's pretty simple. You play Mike Davis in cash, you play Duke Johnson in cash, and you go up and you get like an Aaron Jones or a James Robinson or a Miles Sanders. So pretty simple this week. Duke Johnson, it's really hard to pass him up, especially with the matchup. I think it's a good play there. And then finally, going to type him in here. I really don't know why DraftKings is doing this, but they set Mike Davis to 4,000 on DraftKings, and it's absolutely insane. Like 4,000 going against Tampa Bay here. 50.5-point game total where the Panthers are 5.5-point underdogs. McCaffrey is out. And, Mike Davis averaging 14.3 DraftKings points per week. This is a tough matchup, very tough matchup against Tampa Bay, who has one of the best run defenses in the league. But Davis has really elite pass-catching upside ability. When they played earlier in the year, I think he had like 8 receptions. I think he can definitely, get a couple receptions. Like even at 4,000, you really don't need much. If he can find the end zone, I think he's going to do very, very well. Like even if he gets like a couple receptions, I don't really expect him to do much on the ground, but like you really don't need much at 4,000. It allows you to get so much there. So I think Mike Davis is a lock for me. I'm probably going to play him in pretty much every single lineup. This price does not make sense. I think it was a big mistake on the DraftKings side, and if you want to get a little bit different, you can fade him, but it's really hard to see Mike Davis not paying off that 4,000 price tag. I'll have to play really, really bad to do so. So, yeah, give me Mike Davis at 4,000 there. All right, getting into some wide receivers, and we'll start up top. DAVANTE Adams at 9,000, and like I said, there's so much value on the slate. You can go up and get DAVANTE Adams, no problem, going against Jacksonville here in the 51-point game total where the Packers are 13-point favorites. He's averaging an insane 29.6 DraftKings points. He's scored 112 DraftKings points in the last 3 weeks. He's an animal. He really is. Insane amount of volume with 39 targets in the last 3 weeks as well. I love the matchup here against a poor Jacksonville defense. Multiple touchdown upside. He does have 8 touchdowns in only 5 full games played. So high floor for Adams, high ceiling. I'm probably going to go here in cash. I think it's a pretty safe play there, and I think he has a lot of tournament upside as well. So DAVANTE Adams at 9,000, I like it a lot. No matter what the price is, I'm going to like DAVANTE Adams pretty much any week, no matter the matchup. But I do like the matchup here. All right, Hopkins is definitely in play, 100%. Metcalf is a beast. I like Diggs a lot. Going down, I think Mike Thomas is interesting. So Keenan Allen, 7,100, going against Miami. 48.5 point game total, where the Chargers are 2.5 point underdogs. He's averaging 19.9 DraftKings points per week. I still think he's too cheap here at 7,100. They keep pricing him up little by little, but I still think he's cheap for the amount of volume he's receiving here. So Miami has given up the 6th most DraftKings points to opposing wide receivers. And, just Allen gets a ton of volume, 86 targets on the year. Fantastic cash play week after week. I think I've played this guy in cash like every week, and it's worked out every single time. So Keenan Allen, 7,100. I like him in cash. I even like him in tournaments. I think this is a really good matchup for him. All right, going down. I think, the Rams receivers are really interesting this week going against Seattle. I think the Tampa Bay wide receivers are going to go overlooked this week. I think they're going to be low owned. They're very interesting to me. Other than that, Claypool, 5,800. I like Johnson down there. But Kirk at 5,700, I really like going against Buffalo. 56.5 point game total, where the Cardinals are 2.5 point favorites. A fantastic matchup here against Buffalo. Has been doing fantastic as of late, scoring at least 10 DraftKings points in the last 5 games and scoring at least 20 DraftKings points in the last 3 games. So he's definitely been on a roll here. Cheap pairing option with Kyler Murray. 6 touchdowns on the year. Could be another touchdown opportunity here in a game that's projected to possibly be a shootout here. So Christian Kirk, I love the price. He's been playing very, very well. I believe he outscored Hopkins last week and I think the week before that. So, yeah, Christian Kirk's been playing very well. I love the price at 5,700 there. All right, going down just a little bit here. And Brandin Cooks, another guy that I really like, 5,600 going against Cleveland in a 51-point game total, where the Texans are 3.5 point underdogs. He is averaging 13.6 DraftKings points, 3 touchdowns on the year. He started off the season very slow, but he's been fantastic as of late. Especially the past 4 games played, 39 targets in the last 4 weeks as well. And in the last 4 weeks, Fuller, the number 1 wide receiver, only has 30 targets. So he's getting more targets than Fuller as of recent. And I like the price of Cooks here. I think the price is off. I love the matchup against a poor Cleveland defense that I don't rate all that high. And I'm really liking the Watson and Cook stack a lot this week. I played it last week. It worked out pretty good. Going to go back to it this week against Cleveland. All right, then I'll throw one more name out there. Type him in here. Like I said, there's so much value on this slate. It's insane. JAKEEM Grant, 3,000 going against the Chargers in a 48.5 point game total, where the Dolphins are 1.5 point favorites. Averaging 5.5 DraftKings points. Minimum price pump play here. So he is expected a larger role since Preston Williams is out, and that's the big thing here. He's going to go right into that Preston Williams role, and you really don't need much here at 3K, but I am kind of expecting him to have a decent game here. 7.5 points last week, but with no Preston Williams, I think he'll do very solid at 3,000, their minimum price. Get a couple catches for sure, but just a nice value play there. It definitely opens up a lot of things. All right, then I'll touch on tight ends just real quick here. All right, so up top, Waller at 5,100 I really like. And the dude just gets a lot of targets. 10 targets in week 9, 6 in week 8, 9 in week 7, 7 in week 5. So I'm probably going to have a decent amount of Waller just due to the fact that I'm able to go there a lot this week with all the value elsewhere. In past weeks, I'll just punt down at tight end. It typically works out, but since I'm able to, I might as well just go up and pay for Waller here. I like the matchup a lot against Denver. I think he's going to get a ton of targets, and I think he's the best tight end play on the slate here. 5,100 is not bad. Going down to, go all the way down here. Some pump plays here for a tight end. Jordan Reed, I think, is really interesting. Going against New Orleans, 50-point game total. 49ers are 9-point underdogs. And he's the most talented active tight end on the 49ers as of now. Came back from IR last week, only playing 13 snaps. And he should see an increase in snaps this week. When healthy, he's a pretty solid player, but he's battled injuries, throughout his career. And he should see a decent amount of targets when he is on the field, and I do expect him to 100% play more than 13 snaps. I think they just wanted to get him back a little bit, but very cheap here. Does not need much to hit value at 3,500, and the 49ers should be coming from behind, leading to more passing attempts for Jordan Reed. So something I'm definitely looking at for Reed here at 3,500. And then we'll touch on one more tight end I'm looking at. Austin Hooper, 3,900 going against Houston, where the Browns are 4-point favorites, 45.5 point game total, I think. I think that's wrong, but oh well. I think it's like a 50-point game total, actually. Good matchup here versus a poor Houston defense. And he's been really solid, especially for his price here at 3,900. At least 5 targets in his last 3 games played. And just a nice little punt option here at tight end. You really don't need much at 3,900. So we'll see what, like, when he's healthy. 10.2 DraftKings points, 10.7, 14.4. If you get like 14.4 at 3,900, I'll definitely be happy there. So that's about it. Just some of the favorite plays I like this week. If you guys can leave this video a like, it helps out a ton. Subscribe if you have not yet. Would appreciate that as well. And good luck in week 10. Had a really good week last week. Probably the best week I've had easily all year, but maybe the best week I've had in my life. Like, it was a really good week last week. So good luck, guys, and let's win some money.